Hello ladies and gentlemen, Panzer here, and today I've got a special video for you, well, special vehicle actually, and this is the Crossbow car. Now this is one that's available on the exhibition at the moment, and I had a look for the actual Crossbow because I don't see anywhere that you can actually craft this yet, but it is available on the market. There is actually one piece that's actually available for sale at a ridiculous price, which is kind of interesting. So this car here was obviously built either by a developer or somebody who had somehow had access to this, and that's kind of interesting. So you can see right there at the top it's a crossbow, and it's a completely turreted version of it, and it's supposed to be an automatic crossbow, so when you fire it, it has 12 shots, and let's just see what sort of damage it actually does. Now we do have a scope on this, so we can actually zoom in and get a good shot there. I think that's good there, and let's fire. So that does about 288 damage, but it has a very, very slow fire rate, but it fires, well, the projectiles fire really, really fast. So you could actually use this as a sort of sniping weapon to really pick off parts like weapons or wheels. In fact, let's go for a wheel here. Yeah, you can completely snipe off the wheels there. Let's reload that. Doesn't quite take off that autocannon there. But yeah, you can really do some serious damage to a vehicle if you're very accurate with it. It's a real genuine sniper's weapon. So that's kind of interesting there. And of course, this is available only on the exhibition right now, made by Vladdy T there. So that's something we can see there. And let's have a look at the... Right, so there is also a mine-laying vehicle. So this is another weapon that I can't seem to find anywhere else. And that mine layer at the back there is... Well, it drops little explosive barrels. I don't know if it can actually damage us. Let's see if we find out. Doesn't seem to. It's a physics object, though, so one would assume that that would actually be able to damage other vehicles who go over it. So well, that's blown us up then. Let's see if we can actually drop it on our test vehicle here. Yeah, that does quite a lot of damage. So you can see there, it just sort of rolls slightly behind. So guaranteed to be a sort of throwing weapon. Now, of course, you could actually mount this forward, I believe, and you might actually be able to do some very serious damage with it. There. So, there we go. So that's an interesting vehicle on its own, and the possibilities for these weapons would definitely be... Well, they're definitely two completely different types of weapons, for sure, but I can see these having a lot of use in PvP especially. Not so much in PvE, I think, especially with the crossbow. It might not actually be as useful. But this in PvP would definitely be very useful, as would the crossbow. So some interesting weapons to look forward to there once they're finally completely added. Alright, let's get on with today's build. Today's build is the mini troop crawler. That is... Well, it's what you see right here. I don't really know what to think about this, because the main weapon, of course, being the 25mm up here, the 25mm autocannon, which I've fitted onto it. But its shape is meant to resemble the troop crawler from Command & Conquer Generals, so it has that sort of plow shape at the front, but don't really have the parts to really make one exactly. And of course, with the parts limit of only 55, this is my own account, not a promo account. This isn't exactly ideal, but it is a... Well, it's a 4,000 power score vehicle, and it is capable of taking a fair amount of damage from the front, at least. From the rear, we have this van door at the back, which does help. But main thing is we have a lot of structure points, so we can still take a fair beating, and of course with the autocannon we can kind of dish it out at medium range. This is not a close range vehicle. Definitely not. Can't stress that enough. So, it's not a sniper, but it's a good mid-range kind of support vehicle. Alright, so let's see how well this vehicle actually performs. Now, we do have 6-wheel steering here. I was going to go with 8-wheel, but with the way that the steering actually works in this game, it actually really isn't a good idea to really have all 8-wheel steering. Just the amount of lag that you get really does mess up with the amount of, with just how controllable everything is. So, yeah. Alright, enemies coming up on that side there. I think he might be going for the cap. Got one shot in there. Now, like I said, this is a mid-range vehicle, mainly because of that autocannon there. So getting some good shots in there. One thing about the 25, in fact the 20 mil autocannon, is they really are very good at sort of dealing damage with fair amount of reliability, actually. Just very high damage per shot. The only thing is the turrets do rotate much, well, a lot slower than you would expect them to. Especially if you're used to things like machine guns, then these are very, very slow to actually move. But they are fairly reliable at hitting the target, even at long... Well, I wouldn't say at long range, necessarily, but at a sort of medium range and even while moving. So, if you're going for a fast vehicle, machine guns and autocannons are a fair option. Alright, here we go. And now, I have actually... Oh. Just say sorry to that guy. I didn't mean to knock his explosive spear off. That was definitely not my intention. I did not see it. Right, so, yeah, that's one thing about the explosive spears. They really come off very, very easily. You get triggered by just about everything. And, oh! Yeah, that's what happens if you don't watch where you're going. Yeah. A little bit busy at the moment, I will say. Alright, gonna try and deal some damage to these guys. They are... Well, that does actually look like most of the team. Alright, we do have Psycho coming over. Is he gonna flip us? Well, he's nudged us out of the way, so he can't actually flip us now. Ah, there we go. Alright, let's try and make use of this. Let's help him out here. Alright, that's one kill. But that is quite a lot of the team still hanging around us. And we do actually have a generator exposed at the back there. Also, pyre launchers. We have missiles hitting us as well. And there, yeah. That's an interesting build there by Rocketberry with 2 Cricket 17s. Really living up to the name there. Rocketberry with rocket launchers. Who would have thought? It's really like his rockets. Really trying to make the effort to cap the objective here. Oh, he's left the cap. Well, there goes his weapons, and this is kind of why you don't give up a good position. He was actually in position to cap. If he had not left it, we might have actually won that one. Alright, Ian, here we go. So, last round of the day. As is typical, we do normally do 3 rounds here. If you've been watching the series, you should be well aware of that. But for people who are new to this build series, then you probably haven't seen this before. But, yeah, we do normally do 3 rounds each. Now, this map, Founders Canyon, is more friendly towards mid-range vehicles, whereas the last one is kind of a mix between brawlers and snipers. And I have actually noticed that I have forgotten to put steering wheels on the left side. But you know what? That is actually okay. Provided the right ones don't get shot off, we'll be okay. So this is not actually 6-wheel steering. It's 4-wheel steering with 2 of them on... 2 more on the right side than the left. Alright, so we've got Pencroft coming up here on the left here. Let's get a couple of shots in. It looks like he's been disarmed already. So let's try to get a few shots in and help out the team. Oh, he actually has fire launchers. That's not disarmed in any way. Absolutely not. Alright, so that's the kill assist there. We are capping the base. I'm going to go for his structure here. Come on. Trying to bring down that structure there to knock off his weapons. This is not ideal. It's not an ideal situation for us. There's one thing about those tower builds as well. Just have a look at that. Get it in shot. Now, we're going to look at it. Right, you can see Demonic Dragon up there with the drone. And there he is, right there with the sort of giraffe build. Tower builds being very useful for ridge peeking. You see exactly what he's doing right here. He is coming to try and defend the base, but it's a little too late, unfortunately. Alright, I'm afraid that's all we have time for today, and just a quick build breakdown. So, really the overall shape is the bulk of the superstructure being at the front here, with these radios here to help cover up the excess space, and of course help to get us just that little bit extra scrap in PvP. It really does help, and below all this is just weapon coolers. There's absolutely weapon coolers everywhere. So this is a weapon cooler right here, increases weapon cooling rate, because of course that affects all rapid fire weapons like so. The Wyvern cabin doesn't have that same trait that the pickup cabin has. And just have a look at that. The pickup cabin actually is more suited to active machine gun battles because it has, and it doesn't really state it very clearly, but it actually helps with cooling of automatic weapons. It doesn't appear to affect the shotguns as much, but there we go. So below of all of that, and part of what the autocannon is resting on, is the weapon radiators. So if you have improved radiators, these will actually stack up to 60% each, but these are currently 30% only, which is what I have right now. And behind all of that, we even have the light generator, which pushes our energy up to 11. If you have bigger generators, of course, this will go up even further. And I've just filled that in with an extra weapon radiator here. So that gives us a 90% increase in our cooling or weapon overheat threshold plus weapon cooling. So we can fire the autocannon more efficiently throughout the battle. And that's really the point of it. So you can see just how well that works. Now, this also works very well in PvE. I have to say, it is a very nice PvE build because of just the lack of any ammo-fed weapons. And you can see that even though it only has one weapon, the interesting thing about the autocannon is that it also has 359 points of structure. So just like the cannons as well, they are very difficult to destroy. So if you are looking for a sturdy weapon that is going to last a battle, this is something that you could potentially look at. Now, this and the 20mm autocannon are very reliable mid-range weapons, and they are very good at hitting things at long range, but just bear in mind that the slow turret traverse means you are going to have a couple of issues at short range unless you have a very agile vehicle. But that's really it. So it's a very simple build with a lot of armor up front. So we are very weak in the sides, unfortunately. So that is not the ideal situation for close combat. You do always want a situation where you can face front towards enemy. And of course, replacing one of these weapon radiators with an engine will definitely go a long way to improving maneuverability as well. So that's something to bear in mind if you're looking for a build like this. This is a good example of one, but you could probably do one better with a slightly different setup with the hardware there. So yeah, a lot of people have been asking me to do an autocannon build, and this is just what I've managed to come up with using the parts I had available to me. So of course, you could alternatively just use a 20mm autocannon. That works just as well. In fact, you could also probably fit two of these, two 20mm on here instead, with, you know, a reduction in your cooling threshold if you really want to. But yeah, so that's really it. And one note before we go, of course, the Crossbow and the MINELAYER, I don't believe are fully implemented in the game yet, so that's why I haven't seen anybody running around with that, because they just don't have the parts to do it. But I was able to show it off in test drive, And that's all thanks to Entac, actually, a good friend and a very good YouTuber as well that I do enjoy watching. So if you like Crossout and you like a lot of other games, including survival games, go and check him out as well. Big shout out to him for pointing that out, because I really would not have known they were in the game if he'd never actually mentioned it. So thank you to Entac, and do go and check out his channel. Link will be in the description down below. And as always, if you're enjoying the video and if you like the Crossout series, please leave a like down below and a comment if you have any questions. If you've tried an autocannon build, what sort of setup did you go for and how did you get along with it? And of course, if you have any questions about the game, don't forget to leave it down in the comments below and I will try my best to answer you. And don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel. My name is Panzer. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you